Hi folks. Yeah. This is why I enjoy doing the videos, is because obviously, yeah, yeah. Well, look, as I said before, I've been asking God questions over years and years, for the last 20, 30 years. Keep on going to God about this. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is the church like this? Why is it like that? Yeah, why are we in the mess we're in? Why don't we see what the Bible says we should be seeing? Yeah, when the Lord said, the glory you're giving to me, I give to them, I said, well, where is it? I can't see that. There's no evidence of that at all. I still can't see it. Come on. We're in 2025. The glory? Where? What's that supposed to be? I haven't seen that. Not in the church. Not in any way, shape or form. No. But again, there's reasons why. So, yeah, I'm not trying to have a go. I'm just saying there's reasons why. So therefore, I kept on going to God and going to God. And therefore, God answers. And so understanding the church, well, yeah. The church is now a safe space church where basically you can't look at fruit because, yeah, that's pointing. You can't have anything to do with consequences or anything like that. No, you can't point to anything like that. Anything that's said that could be offensive, well, you've got to promise to try not to offend people. Yeah. Yeah. You've got to promise to try not to offend people. So therefore, yeah. That's safe space Christianity. Why safe space? Because safe space feels good. Feeling safe feels good. The Spirit doesn't like that. The Spirit hates anything to do with safe space because it knows. It reads the Word of God. The Spirit understands that when the Word of God says that you will face persecution, persecution isn't safe. So when church talks about safe and, yeah, they want you to feel safe and to be in a safe space sort of thing, then, really? How is that in line? Yeah, in any way, shape or form, how is that in line with the Word of God? It isn't at all. No. Well, as I said, part of it is also understanding that when people read all these books, which they do, when people listen to all these videos, like I say, people can be quite heavy on people like Chris Blackerby. That's an example that I know of. Again, I'm not trying to pick on this man. He's an example. I can only use the examples that I have. Yeah, I'd love to be able to use every example in the world or choose a different example every time, but I don't have them. I only have the examples that I have, so therefore I mention him a lot. Sometimes I mention the church, as I mentioned, because they are the examples. I'm not trying to pick on in any way, shape or form. But again, people might think I am. I'm not. I can only possibly use the examples that I have. The examples that God puts in my mind about a certain situation, I have to use those. That's the reality. I can't do more. I can't just pick examples out of the sky, can I? Yeah, and say, well, that's a good example. I'll have that. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. There are people that do YouTube videos and YouTube videos about God. As I say, I mean, there's all these ones that do about pastors speaking at Speaker's Corner in London, when they're basically they're telling Muslims that they're wrong. And, you know, people love that. They do. They love that, and they can be influenced by that. That's completely the opposite to the Word of God, but they can love that. Yeah. And for a while, there was this other thing that people were loving. This type of church. There was around about 20 years ago. Well, it would have been about 10 years ago, I suppose. I think I was living here. Yeah, must be about 10 years ago. Yeah. Because I was speaking to Mike Toms about it. He was one of these people. I think it was him. I'm not totally sure. Because there was this church that believed that we should be like the early church, like the Church of Acts. and they were doing a lot about that. I can't remember what it was. The Pioneer Church, something like that. The Pioneer Church, or Pioneer Ministry. It was something like that. And a lot of people were taken by that. And it wasn't of God in any way, shape or form. It's completely of man. Again, it was all about feeling good. People felt good because they felt, oh, if we can be like the early church and we can look more like, who cares? All of that is just crap. Ugh. But yeah, I say, should we be surprised in any way, shape or form that the church was infected by that? Because, you know, when young people went away from the church, and it all comes together, you see. I did the video earlier about the Pentecostal church had a very, very short life because of the Second World War. And what happened after the Second World War? The young people going away from the church. Well, there you go. That's why the church went to this safe space and this comfortable church with the happy clappy. That all came from that. And so, yeah, the church became all about feelings and everything feeling good. And, you know, so therefore, if you make every church basic the same, it feels like you're at home. And that was a language that would have been used. You go to that church and it feels like home. It feels like your home church because it looks exactly like the way they're doing things. The ministers have been trained in the same way in Bible college, and etc., 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 etc. Yeah, we have a factory production of ministers, a factory production of design of church. Because, as I say, we have that situation where if you are setting up a church, there's an element of fear that comes in. And you tend to toe the line and do your church the same as every other church. Because then if something goes wrong, you're covered. Because you're part of the collective. And to not be part of the collective, it means the collective won't accept you. And it means that if something goes wrong, they don't have your back. So, it's all... It's about feeling part of as well, isn't it? Because that's why people come to church, because they feel part of something. So again, it's still part of the feelings, isn't it? It feels nice to feel part of. And to feel welcomed. It all feels nice. And so, yeah. Should we be surprised that church is now very much about feelings? And more about feelings than it is about faith? And where truth can therefore be something that is unwelcome because truth doesn't make you feel good. Well, most truth doesn't make you feel good, especially if it's truth you don't know. Because if it's truth you don't know, it means somebody else knows something you don't, which means it makes you feel stupid, which makes you feel bad. So therefore, truth must therefore itself be bad. Yeah. It all comes full circle. Yeah. That one thing moulds into that, which moulds into that, which moulds into that, which moulds into that. And here we are. And yeah, I feel so blessed that God has given me a reasonable picture on all of that. Yeah, the questions I've asked have been answered, generally speaking. So that's good. They can be answered in more fullness, so let's see.